Hey, this doesn't really regard my classmates, but I just wanted to speak to Professor Wanzer about this. I was sick for a week and a half to the point where I was barely able to get out of bed, and same with my dad too. So I just wanted to say, I think we know what I was sick with, and I'm fine now. I've recovered and everything. I'm fine. I feel great. But I had to keep myself quarantined. And this is the reason why I'm uploading it now, because I was sick and I had no energy, couldn't hardly even get out of bed. So I think it's appropriate now to upload my speech now. And I'm sorry about that, and I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. Also, I was in a really serious relationship, and that ended too. So it's been a rough week and a half. But I'm over it. I'm getting over it. I'm fine. So without further ado, let me get started on my speech. Um, don't you think if more people vote for you, then you should win? Well, that is not 100% what happens all the time. From the results of the Electoral College that determine the President of the United States. My argument is how there should not be an Electoral College. And if one vote wins the state, then what does it matter if it doesn't win it for the whole country? If a candidate wins 50% of the vote plus one nationwide, they may not win the presidency if it's the country. But if it's for the state and over 50% wins it for that state, then the whole state gets the votes. And that doesn't really make, the system totally contradicts. And that is a quote from Jacob Wendling. And your vote is pretty much ignored if your state is heavily Democratic or Republican as well. A quote by Jamil Bowie says, "It does not matter that Trump won millions of votes in New Jersey or that Hillary Clinton won millions in Texas. If your state is reliably red or blue, you are completely ignored." Moving on, if the Electoral College was taken out, then we would vote as a whole country. Instead of the person in California or Texas or a state that has a lot of votes towards the Electoral College, everyone's vote would be an equal one. No matter what, if big states and or big cities voted the same, they would dominate the election. However, every election in the last century has been very close between the big states. And a quote by, no candidate has won more than 51% of the vote in the largest states in this century. The average difference between the candidates is only 4 percentage points. And that is a quote by George C. Edwards. So if the vote is extremely close between the large states every single time, then why does that one state always win all of the votes, even though it is almost even every time? I don't know, that beats me too. And there are states that are now passing a bill to abolish the Electoral College, and they are making their votes count towards the popular vote. A quote by Jose Del Rio and Julie Turkowitz states that on Tuesday, Nevada became the latest state to pass the bill that would grant its electoral votes to whoever wins the popular vote across the country, not just in Nevada. If Nevada's governor signs a bill, the state will become the 15th, plus the District of Columbia, to join an interstate pact of states promising to switch to the new system. And if 15 states have decided to pass a bill to vote towards whoever wins the popular vote, then there's only 10 more states that need to agree to make it an even, making this argument very credible and very possible to change. And there's one thing that mainly is a big criticism about voting as a whole country, and that's excluding rural areas. And a quote by Trent England says, if the national popular vote drive kills the Electoral College, rural and small town Americans who supply our food and energy will lose their voice. And I disagree with that. And I'm going to say why I disagree with that. Like if you look at Wyoming and Wyoming wins, already people are like, oh, Wyoming, like they only get 2 or 3 votes anyway. So if these people got to vote for 1 vote, I would say that their 1 vote counts as much as a person in the city or a person in the suburbs or a person anywhere around the country. It's just an equal 1. And before I am going to end, I want to say you guys probably think that I am livid that Donald Trump won the election and I'm an absolute Democrat, which I am not. And I consider myself in the middle. I look at both sides. I like things about both sides, and there's things I don't like about both sides. With that being said, I don't want you guys to favor this argument based off of what political party you stand for, but by rather the facts and your own opinions about this situation. Instead of voting for a state, you would be voting for your whole country, and that is something that would be great to have.